Commander Vex-9 clicked his mandibles in what passed for amusement among the Korthak. The human female suspended in the neural web looked so fragile. Her pale skin was already showing the telltale purple bruises from the restraint pods, and yet somehow she was smiling. Actually smiling. "It's fascinating," muttered Doctor This from across the interrogation chamber. Her 6 eyes blinked in sequence as she adjusted the pain amplifiers. The primitive stress indicators are completely abnormal. The human's name was Maya Torres, according to the datapad, though Vex-9 doubted that mattered much longer. Birth designation, military rank lieutenant, age 26 standard cycles. Nothing particularly impressive about her service record either. Just another meatbag from that backwater planet the High Council had decided to relocate. Perhaps her neural pathways are damaged, suggested This, her voice carrying that particular tone of scientific curiosity that made Vex-9's chitin crawl. Should we increase the intensity? Maya's head lolled to one side, her brown hair matted with sweat, but those hazel eyes remained sharp, alert, and when she spoke, her voice was steady despite the neural disruptors flooding her system with agony. "You know what's funny?" Maya said, her words slightly slurred but clear enough. "Back home, I used to hate dental appointments. I thought that was pain." She actually chuckled, a sound that echoed strangely in the chamber. Boy, was I wrong. Vex-9 felt his secondary stomach lurch. He'd processed thousands of prisoners from dozens of species over his career. Fear, rage, desperation, pleading. Those were normal responses. Laughter. That was disturbing. Increase the neural cascade by 15%, he ordered, trying to keep the uncertainty out of his voice. This is complied eagerly, her claws dancing over the control interface. The neural web hummed with increased power, and Maya's body convulsed against the restraints. Any other species would be screaming by now. Should be screaming. Instead, Maya Torres threw back her head and laughed louder. "Oh, that's good stuff," she gasped between waves of artificially induced agony. "Really gets the blood pumping, doesn't it? What do you call this little setup? The tingle machine?" "Impossible," This whispered, all 6 eyes now focused entirely on the readouts. Her pain receptors are fully functional. The neural pathways are intact. She should be experiencing approximately 47 different varieties of suffering simultaneously. "I know, right?" Maya agreed cheerfully. "It's like being hit by lightning while someone's drilling into your teeth and setting your bones on fire. All at the same time. Pretty impressive tech, actually." Vex-9 stepped closer to the containment field, studying this bizarre human with newfound wariness. In his experience, only 2 types of beings responded to torture with such calm, either the completely insane or the genuinely dangerous. Maya didn't look insane. "What are you?" he demanded, his translator converting his clicked consonants into something approximating human speech. "Me?" Maya's grin widened, showing those unsettling white teeth that humans were so proud of. "I'm nobody special. Just a girl from Denver who enlisted because college was too expensive." She paused as another wave of neural fire swept through her. "Though I did do a lot of extreme sports as a kid. Rock climbing, base jumping, free diving. My mom always said I had a high pain tolerance." "High pain tolerance," This repeated flatly. "The current output should incapacitate a Vraxian war beast." "Well, I'm not a war beast," Maya pointed out reasonably. "I'm human. We are kind of weird that way." Something cold settled in Vex-9's thorax. The briefings on Earth's population had mentioned their unusual durability. But the reports had focused on their primitive technology, their fractured political systems, their laughably short lifespans. Nobody had mentioned this. "Run a full biological scan," he ordered. "Check for implants, genetic modifications, combat stimulants." "Already did," This replied, her voice tight with frustration. "She's completely unmodified. Standard human physiology. Elevated endorphin production, but still within normal parameters for the species." Maya was nodding along as if this was the most natural conversation in the galaxy. Endorphins are great, aren't they? Natural painkillers. Though I have got to say, your machine here is really putting them to the test. Why aren't you afraid? Vex 9 found himself asking. The question seemed to genuinely surprise her. Maya tilted her head, considering, and for a moment the cheerful mask slipped. Something harder showed through, something that made the commander take an involuntary step backward. Afraid of what? You? She shook her head slowly. Buddy, I have been in 3 different wars on 4 different continents. I have been shot, stabbed, blown up, and buried alive. I have watched good people die and bad people win, and I have learned something important along the way. Which is… Maya's smile returned, but it was different now, sharper. Pain is temporary. Death is permanent. But what you remember, what you choose to remember, that's forever. She met his compound eyes directly. And I choose to remember that every second you spend torturing me is a second you are not hurting someone else. The silence stretched between them, broken only by the hum of the neural web and the distant sounds of the ship's systems. Vex 9 realized his mandibles had stopped clicking entirely. Besides, Maya added, her voice returning to that insufferably cheerful tone. You haven't even asked me any questions yet. What kind of interrogation is this? I was expecting some classic where are the rebel bases or what are your military codes type stuff. This is just recreational torture. That's just rude. This is looked up from her instruments. Commander, her neurochemical readings are unusual. The pain responses are registering, but her brain is processing them as something else entirely, almost like. Like what? Like she's enjoying it. Maya burst out laughing again. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. This definitely sucks. But I will tell you what doesn't suck. Her eyes gleamed with something that might have been amusement, or might have been threat. Knowing that every minute you waste on me is another minute my people have to prepare for you. Your people? Vex 9 clicked dismissively. Your primitive world fell in 6 standard hours. Your fleets are space debris. Your governments have surrendered unconditionally. Yeah, the governments. Maya nodded agreeably. Politicians, right? Always so quick to give up when things get tough. But here's the thing about humans that your intelligence reports probably missed. And she leaned forward against the restraints, and despite the neural disruptors, despite the pain that should have left her unconscious, her voice was perfectly steady. We don't actually need governments to be really, really annoying. Something in her tone made Vex 9's chitin crawl. Explain. Well, take me, for example. I was supposed to be on leave when you guys showed up. Each vacation in Mexico. But instead, I spent the last 3 weeks teaching civilians how to make improvised explosives out of household chemicals. Her grin was absolutely radiant. Turns out humans are really creative when they are angry. Impossible. Our orbital surveillance would have detected organized resistance. Organized? Maya laughed so hard she started coughing. Oh, honey, you are thinking about this all wrong. We don't need to be organized. That's the beautiful thing about humans. We are stubborn, we are spiteful, and we really, really don't like being told what to do. She paused, tilting her head as if listening to something. Speaking of which, you might want to check on your supply depot on the continent you guys call. What was it? Theta 7? Because I'm pretty sure the soccer moms of suburban Atlanta just figured out how to turn minivans into guided missiles. The blood in Vex 9's secondary circulatory system went cold. That's impossible. The local populations are under strict control. Are they, though? Maya's eyes sparkled with barely contained mirth. Because last I checked, Karen from the PTA was organizing a bake sale. And Karen doesn't mess around when it comes to fundraising. This is frantically working her console now, trying to establish contact with the ground forces. The communications array crackled with static and partial transmissions, nothing clear enough to understand. You are bluffing, Vex 9 stated, but his voice lacked conviction. Am I? Maya asked sweetly. Tell me, Commander, when your forces landed, did you happen to notice how many coffee shops there are in human cities? Coffee shops? He couldn't keep the confusion out of his voice. Oh, you poor, poor alien? You have no idea what you have walked into, do you? Maya's laughter filled the chamber, echoing off the metal walls like music. See, humans run on caffeine, and when you cut off our coffee supply, well, let's just say we get a little cranky. The communication console finally cleared, and a panicked voice filled the chamber. It was speaking Korthak, but the universal translator made the words clear enough. Command, this is Ground Station 5. We are under attack. They are using food trucks as armored vehicles. And the projectiles appear to be, wait, are those bowling balls? Maya clapped her hands together in delight, the sound muffled by the energy restraints. Oh, Carl's burger truck. I told him that armor plating was a good investment. Another transmission crackled through. Station 12 to command. The humans have weaponized their domestic animals. Repeat. The dogs are wearing explosives. Not explosives, Maya corrected helpfully. Fireworks. Way more fun, and they are completely legal. Well, they were legal. Vex 9 stared at the laughing human with growing horror. This is madness. You are describing chaos, not warfare. Oh, Commander, Maya said, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes. You still don't get it, do you? This isn't chaos. She looked directly at him, and for a moment the laughter stopped. In its place was something far more terrifying, absolute, unshakable confidence. This is Tuesday. The communication array exploded with reports from across the planet. Supply convoys ambushed by school buses filled with teenagers throwing paint balloons. Administrative centers occupied by flash mobs of senior citizens armed with walkers and righteous indignation. Military installations infiltrated by Girl Scout troops selling cookies laced with mild sedatives. Impossible, Thesis whispered, her claws trembling over the controls. This level of coordinated resistance should require months of planning, sophisticated equipment, military leadership. You are still thinking like aliens, Maya said, shaking her head sadly. Humans don't need sophisticated equipment. We have got duct tape, determination, and a really unhealthy relationship with authority figures. She paused, listening to another report about a shopping mall being converted into a fortress by a group of retail workers. Plus, and this is important, we have been practicing. Practicing? Maya's grin was absolutely wicked now. Every Black Friday, every concert, every sporting event where the home team loses. You think dealing with alien invaders is stressful? Try shopping at Target on the day after Thanksgiving. The lights in the chamber flickered, and emergency klaxons began wailing throughout the ship. What's happening? Vex 9 demanded. Oh, that's probably my friend Jake, Maya said casually. Electronics expert. Really good with computers. I bet he's having fun with your ship's systems right about now. The gravity field fluctuated, sending this stumbling into her console. How? Vex 9's voice was barely a whisper. How is this possible? Maya's expression grew serious for a moment, almost sad. You want to know the truth, Commander? You guys made one really big mistake. Which was, you assumed we were like you. Maya's voice was gentle now, almost pitying. You saw our technology, our governments, our militaries, and you thought you understood us. But the thing is, all that stuff, that's just the surface. She leaned back against the restraints, somehow managing to look comfortable despite the ongoing neural assault. Humans aren't our governments. We are not our militaries or our technologies or our corporations. We are something much simpler and much more dangerous than that. What are you? Vex 9 asked again. Maya Torres smiled, and it was the most beautiful and terrifying thing he'd ever seen. We are the species that looked at evolution and said no thanks. We will take it from here. We are the ones who figured out how to fly by throwing ourselves off cliffs until something worked. We are the creatures who decided that the best way to explore the deepest parts of our oceans was to build tiny metal boxes and climb inside them. The ship shuddered around them, and the lights went out completely before emergency power kicked in. We are the species that turned warfare into an art form, medicine into a science, and survival into a hobby, and most importantly. Maya's laughter filled the chamber one more time, bright and clear and utterly, completely human. We are the ones who laugh when it hurts, because laughing is how we tell the universe that it hasn't beaten us yet. The neural web powered down with a dying whine, and Maya Torres sat in the darkness, still smiling. "So," she said cheerfully into the silence, "who wants to surrender first?" The emergency lighting cast eerie red shadows across the interrogation chamber as Commander Vex-9 tried to process what was happening to his ship. His perfectly ordered invasion was collapsing faster than a house of cards in a hurricane, and the human female was still sitting there, humming what sounded like a children's song. Status report. He barked into his communicator, but the response was a garbled mess of panicked voices and static. "Let me guess," Maya said helpfully. "Your communications are down, your navigation is spinning in circles, and somewhere on Deck 7, all the doors are opening and closing by themselves?" She paused thoughtfully. Jake always was a bit of a show-off. Dr. This was frantically working her console, her 6 eyes darting between multiple displays. "Commander, we are receiving thousands of signals from the planet's surface. They appear to be. Are these music transmissions?" "Oh, that will be the radio stations," Maya explained. "Probably playing the Resistance playlist. You know, we will rock you. Don't stop believing, maybe some Welcome to the Jungle. Classic pump-up music." "Music?" Vex-9's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Your species coordinates military operations through entertainment?" Maya looked at him like he'd just asked why water was wet. "How else would you do it? Military channels are boring, and besides, everyone knows the words to Bohemian Rhapsody. Try getting a flash mob organized around tactical frequencies." "Good luck with that." The ship lurched violently to one side, throwing this against the wall. Emergency klaxons wailed as artificial gravity fluctuated between normal and weightless. "What was that?" Vex-9 demanded. "Probably your orbital defense grid," Maya said, checking her fingernails as if this was the most boring conversation in the galaxy. "I'm betting the local ham radio operators figured out how to hack your targeting systems. Old guys with too much time and really good technical skills. They probably think this is the best hobby project they have ever had." Another transmission crackled through the damaged speakers. "Ground control to Major Tom. We have ignition. Repeat, the birthday cake is in the oven." Maya giggled. "Oh, that's code. Not very good code, but code nonetheless. Someone's grandmother just launched something into space, and she's really excited about it." "Launched what?" This is whispered. "Knowing Grandma Martinez, probably her prize-winning apple pie recipe," Maya said thoughtfully. "Strapped to whatever rockets the local model airplane club had lying around." She brightened. Actually, knowing Grandma Martinez, it might literally be an apple pie. She takes her cooking very seriously." The ship's main lights came back online, then immediately began flashing in a pattern that seemed almost musical. "Commander," one of his bridge officers spoke through the comm system, his voice tight with barely controlled panic. "The humans have somehow synchronized our entire lighting system to play something called Never Gonna Give You Up. Engineering reports they cannot override the command." Maya burst into delighted laughter. "Oh, you got rickrolled. By an entire spaceship. That's amazing. Jake, you magnificent genius." "What is rickrolled?" Vex-9 asked weakly. It's complicated," Maya said, wiping tears from her eyes. "Let's just say it's a very human way of saying surprise. We are not as helpless as you thought." The deck plating beneath their feet began vibrating rhythmically, and Vex-9 realized with growing horror that the entire ship was being turned into a musical instrument. "This is impossible," This muttered, her claws dancing frantically over her controls. Our security systems are military-grade. 3 layers of encryption, quantum-locked firewalls, sentient AI guardians. Yeah, about those AI guardians, Maya said casually. You might want to check on them. Because if I know Jake, he probably introduced them to something really dangerous. What could be dangerous to an artificial intelligence? Maya's grin was positively evil. Cat videos. The ship's computer systems chose that moment to display thousands of images of small, furry Earth creatures in various states of adorable activity. Every screen, every display, every holographic projector was suddenly showing cats playing with yarn, sleeping in boxes, or staring judgmentally at the camera. What is this? This stared at a particularly fluffy orange cat that seemed to be judging her personally. Psychological warfare, Maya explained. See, your AI guardians are probably trying to analyze the tactical significance of these images. They are looking for hidden codes, secret messages, military intelligence. She paused to appreciate a video of a kitten falling asleep in a food bowl. What they are actually looking at is the purest form of weaponized cuteness in the known universe. That's ridiculous. How could images of small animals disable military-grade artificial intelligence? Maya looked at her with genuine pity. Have you ever tried to stop watching cat videos once you start? No? Well, neither can your AIs. They are probably stuck in an infinite loop of just one more right about now. As if to prove her point, the ship's main computer announced in a slightly dazed voice, "Alert, tactical analysis of subject Mr. Whiskers requires additional processing time. Cuteness levels exceed acceptable parameters." "Oh no," Maya said with mock concern. "Looks like your computer has been assimilated by the fluff. That's what we call Tuesday on the Internet." The entire ship shuddered as something massive impacted the hull. Through the viewports, Vex 9 could see what appeared to be a modified passenger airliner approaching on a collision course. Incoming transmission, the computer announced, its voice now noticeably warmer and more friendly. The message reads, "This is Captain Sarah Wilson of the former Delta Flight 447. We have converted our bird into a battering ram, and we are coming to collect our people. Also, the in-flight movie today is Independence Day, which seemed appropriate." Maya clapped her hands in delight. "Oh, I love Sarah. She always said retirement was boring. That she's having the time of her life right now. Your people are using civilian aircraft as weapons?" Vex 9's voice cracked slightly. "Sarah's not civilian," Maya corrected. "She's ex-Air Force. Flew cargo planes in 3 different combat zones before she started flying passengers." She paused thoughtfully. "Come to think of it, a lot of our pilots are ex-military. And the ones who aren't probably should be, considering how crazy commercial aviation is these days." Another impact shook the ship, this one accompanied by what sounded like music being played at deafening volume. "That will be the mariachi band," Maya said conversationally. "They were on a cultural exchange tour when you guys showed up. Apparently, they decided to turn their tour bus into a mobile concert platform." She listened to the approaching music with obvious appreciation. "I think that's La Cucaracha. Classic choice for an alien invasion." This was staring at her instruments in growing horror. "Commander, I'm reading multiple approaching objects. They appear to be, are those garbage trucks, sanitation workers." Maya nodded approvingly. "The best drivers in any city. They know every street, every shortcut, every way to get where they need to go." She grinned wickedly. "Plus, they are already used to dealing with things that smell terrible and make horrible noises. Present company excluded, of course," she added politely. The ship's artificial gravity cut out entirely, leaving everyone floating in the chamber. Maya somehow managed to look graceful even while restrained and weightless. "Oh," she said cheerfully. "Looks like someone found your main power coupling. That's usually pretty well hidden. Whoever did that really knows their way around alien technology." "Impossible," Vex 9 gasped, struggling to orient himself in zero gravity. "Our ship designs are classified at the highest levels." "Yeah, well, you are forgetting something important about humans," Maya said, somehow managing to spin herself around to face him directly. "We are really, really good at taking things apart to see how they work." She paused, listening to the sounds of machinery grinding to a halt throughout the ship. "Also, Professor Kim from IT has been studying your crashed scout ship for the last 2 weeks. Turns out your technology isn't actually that different from ours. Just bigger, shinier, and with more unnecessary bells and whistles." "Professor Kim? Damn. Nuclear physicist. Also builds custom motorcycles as a hobby." Maya's expression grew thoughtful. "Actually, now that I think about it, half the professors at any major university probably have the skills to dismantle your ship. And the other half could probably figure out how to weaponize whatever the first half found." The lighting system finally settled into a steady pattern, but now every surface was displaying what appeared to be a live video feed from Earth's surface. Vex 9 watched in growing horror as humans swarmed over abandoned Korthak equipment like ants at a picnic. "Oh, look," Maya pointed at one of the screens. "There's Bob from the auto shop. He's got one of your hover tanks running again. I bet he had to hotwire it, though. Your security systems probably don't account for someone who learned how to fix cars by hitting them with hammers." On another screen, a group of children appeared to be using a crashed alien fighter as playground equipment while their parents systematically stripped it for parts. "And there's the soccer team," Maya said with obvious delight. "I told Coach Peterson that alien invasions were just another kind of away game. Looks like the kids are adapting well." "This is madness," this whispered. "Your species has no military organization, no unified command structure, no strategic planning capabilities. How are you mounting this level of resistance?" Maya looked at her with something approaching sympathy. "You still don't get it, do you? You are thinking about this like it's a war between two armies. But this isn't a war. Then what is it? It's pest control." The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of something large and metallic being torn apart somewhere else in the ship. "See, the thing about humans," Maya continued conversationally, "is that we don't actually need someone to tell us what to do when something threatens our home. We just do things. Whatever needs doing." She gestured toward the screens showing Earth's surface. "You see chaos and disorganization. I see plumbers who know how to reroute your power systems, electricians who can short-circuit your control networks, and mechanics who can turn your own vehicles against you." Another screen showed an elderly woman directing a group of teenagers in what appeared to be a complex technical operation involving several pieces of alien equipment and a lot of duct tape. "And librarians," Maya added with obvious pride. "Never underestimate librarians. They know how to find information, organize resources, and they are really good at keeping people quiet when they need to concentrate." The ship's remaining systems began shutting down one by one. Life support, artificial gravity, communications, navigation. Everything that made the massive vessel a functioning spacecraft was being systematically disabled by what appeared to be a coordinated assault by every human on the planet. "But how?" Vex 9's voice was barely a whisper. "How are you coordinating all of this without military leadership?" Maya's smile was radiant. "Social media." "What?" "Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, Discord." Maya counted them off on her fingers. "Every human on the planet is connected to every other human through a network of communication that updates in real time, operates on every device, and is completely decentralized." She paused to watch a screen showing what appeared to be a flash mob of senior citizens overwhelming a Korthak checkpoint through the tactical application of casseroles and stern looks. "You want to know the really funny part? You guys probably monitored our official government communications, our military networks, our emergency broadcasting systems, all the important official channels. Of course. But you didn't monitor the network where Karen from suburban Atlanta coordinates with Dmitry from rural Russia to share pictures of their cats." Maya's laughter filled the chamber. "You missed the network where teenagers teach each other how to make slime, grandmothers share cookie recipes, and college students organize study groups." The ship gave one final, shuddering groan and went completely dark except for the emergency lighting. You missed the network where humans teach each other everything. In the silence that followed, Vex 9 finally understood the magnitude of their mistake. They hadn't invaded a world. They'd kicked over an anthill. And now 8 billion angry ants were swarming toward them with everything from nuclear physics to knitting needles. "Commander," Maya said gently, "I'm going to ask you one more time. Who wants to surrender first?" Before he could answer, the chamber door exploded inward in a shower of sparks and twisted metal. Through the smoke stepped a figure in a maintenance jumpsuit, carrying what appeared to be a modified plasma cutter and wearing a name tag that read, "Hello, my name is Jake." "Hey, Maya." The newcomer called cheerfully. "Sorry I'm late. Had to stop by the engine room and teach their computers about memes. You would not believe how confused they got by that dancing baby video." Behind Jake came a stream of humans, all wearing civilian clothes, all carrying improvised weapons, and all looking like they were having the best day of their lives. Maya Torres looked at Commander Vex 9 one last time, her expression almost kind. "You know what the real difference is between humans and every other species you have probably conquered?" she asked. "Whoa!" Vex 9 couldn't speak. "Other species fight to survive," Maya said, as Jake began cutting through her restraints. "Humans survive to fight." She stood up slowly, working feeling back into her limbs, and smiled that terrible, wonderful, completely human smile. "And Commander, we are really, really good at both." 6 months later, the Korthak hegemony officially declared Earth a protected cultural heritage site and banned all military operations within a 50-light-year radius. The official reason given was to preserve a unique and valuable primitive civilization for future study. The unofficial reason, passed along in hushed tones through diplomatic channels, was simpler: never again. Maya Torres returned to her interrupted beach vacation in Mexico, where she spent 2 weeks teaching the local bartender how to make the perfect margarita and explaining to confused tourists why all the alien technology on the beach was being used as very expensive lawn furniture. When reporters asked her about humanity's surprisingly effective resistance, she just shrugged and said, "We are humans. Being ridiculously stubborn in the face of impossible odds isn't a survival trait. It's a hobby." And somewhere in the depths of space, an alien commander named Vex 9 filed his final report on the human incident with a single recommendation: avoid at all costs. They laugh when it hurts, and they never, ever stop laughing. The universe took note, and the humans kept laughing.